Good morning, grade 7 students. Kindly turn on your cameras, please, and let's feel the holy presence of the Lord as we say, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Now, please turn off your cameras. So, before we start our class, let me remind you class first about our classroom reminders or our classroom rules. So first classroom reminders is that be respectful. Second, turn off the microphone button if someone is talking. Third, be participative. And fourth, enjoy learning. So class, do you copy about our classroom reminders? Now, if you do so, please send a heart reaction or in-call messages so that I can know that you are already ready for our class for today. So to start with, let's have an activity first. So this activity is a conversation between teacher Anne and her students of Montelo High. So I'm gonna play an audio recording and please take note of the classroom guidelines or house rules that teacher Anne mentioned in the dialogue, and also her responses to some of the students' concern. You may write your answers in any sheet of paper. So let's start.
Good morning, class. I am Teacher Ann and I am your advisor for this school year. Before having the lesson proper, I have here house rules. Excuse me, miss. What are house rules? These are the classroom guidelines I set that you must follow. Okay, miss, thank you. First, you must turn off your gadgets during class hours. What if there's an emergency call from home, miss? You may answer the call, but make sure that you must not disturb other classes. Okay, miss, thank you. Second, you must cooperate during discussion and you must submit tasks on time. Will you give consideration for late submissions, miss? I might reconsider late submissions if the reason is valid and there are concrete proofs. If none, I might give you a failing grade for that. Thank you, miss. Last and the most important rule is we must respect everyone in and outside of this classroom. Am I understood? Yes, miss. Excuse me, miss, may I go to the comfort room? You may go ahead. No other concerns? None, miss. Okay, if that's the case, I will dismiss you early. You may take your early lunch. Goodbye, class. Have a good day and welcome to Montelo High. Goodbye, miss, and thank you.
Okay, so done. Okay, for the second time around, I'm gonna play again the audio recording, and this time you have to give me the words in the given classroom guidelines that appears constantly, and second, write of about what is the teacher's response to the student's concern. So as you can see on my screen, these are the rules or the house rules or custom guidance mentioned by teacher Anne. And so with teachers and responses to students' concern, as what I've asked you earlier. Now please, or can somebody tell me about the words that appears constantly? Yes, Gab. Okay, thank you so much. The must, may, and might. These are the three words that appeared constantly according to the audio that we listened earlier. Now, I have questions to you, class. Are you familiar with the words might, must, and may? And when are these words usually used? Okay, yes, L. Okay, thank you so much. That was a great answer. That was very good. Okay, so when we want to express like possibility, permissions, and obligations, we usually use the words might, may, and must, right? Okay, respectively, to emphasize those expressions together with the main verbs. So in grammar, let's go to grammar na. What do you call these words? Like the words might, may, must, and so on. Okay, yes, Gab. What do you call these words? It starts with letter M. Okay, very good. Modals. So today, class, I'll give the floor to Teacher Devora so we can dig deeper, or she can dig deeper, or what really modals is all about. Okay.
Good morning, grade 7 students. So today we're going to tackle about modal verbs. But before that, let me check if you are still with us today. Kindly send a heart or action on the in-call messages. Okay, so I have seen a lot of heart reaction in the in-call messages. So I guess everyone is excited and ready to explore about modal verbs. But before that, allow me to introduce to you the different learning competencies that are expected of you to accomplish by the end of the lesson. So first one is to identify modals in the dialogue listened to. Second is to differentiate modals according to their uses. And the last one is to compose a dialogue of real-life scenarios with the use of modals. Okay, going back to the topic, based on our previous activity or the dialogue presented to you, how would you define modal verbs? Anyone from the class? Okay, we have here a volunteer. Yes, Joe Bert, you're raising your hand. Thank you for that answer, Joe Bert. Okay, Joe Bert is actually right because he said that modal verb is a helping verb because it adds meaning to the verb that follows them, which is actually right because modal verbs is an auxiliary or helping verbs. Another one. Yes, May? Thank you for that insightful answer, May. So, yes, May is also correct because she said that we use modals to permit someone to do something or to express obligation. Yes, that's actually right. Let's give a virtual applause to Jobert and May for that very wonderful and insightful answer, everyone. Thank you for that. Okay, now let's uncover the definition of modal verbs. Christy, kindly help me read what's on the slide. Thank you for that reading, Christy. So yes, modal verb is a verb that is usually used to express possibility, necessity, permission, and obligation. Okay, very good. So yes, going back to the dialogue, so teacher Anne there sets house rules or classroom guidelines and she uses the word must. So that means that the students are obliged to follow those classroom guidelines. It expresses obligation or necessity. And also to her responses that the students may use their phones if there is an emergency. So teacher Anne there permits them. And she also expressed possibility. There's a portion there in the dialogue that teacher Anne expresses possibility in the part wherein teacher Anne said that I might give you a failing grade if there is no valid reason of late submissions, right? Okay, very good class. You've remembered that. Now, we have three types of modal verbs. Can you guess what are these types?
Okay, none. Okay, so I will just introduce it to you. So we have three types. The first one is the modals that denotes possibility. Second is the modals that denotes obligation. And the third one is the modals that denotes permission. So based on the dialogue, can you guess between among may, might, and must, which modal verbs is under the verbs that denotes possibility? Yes, Chidoro. Very good. Yes, might is used in modals that denotes possibility. Yes, that's good. What about modals that denotes obligation? Yes, Christy. Must. Okay, very good. Then what about permission? Yes, Don. Okay, very good. May. Okay, class, I'm very impressed that you know it. You're very observant and a good listener, everyone. Thank you for that. Yes. So, the modal verbs under um modals that denotes possibility are might and may. So these modals are used to show how certain a speaker that a certain situation happens or didn't. So for example, we have here an example. Um, I might have a failing grade. So from that example, the speaker sounded like he or she maybe didn't do well, or maybe he or she has um unsubmitted tasks or lacking tasks to submit. So he or she uses the modal verb might. That means that based from those reasons, he might fail. Second is the modals that denotes obligation is must. So this expresses necessity or something you really have to do. So the best example there is, yes, Joe Bird. Very good. The classroom guidelines that teacher Anne mentioned in the dialogue. We have here another example. So, Prince Gaoyang must marry Li Changli to fulfill his mother's dying wish. So, this particular example is from the historical Chinese historical drama Prince Wei Yang. So, if we look back, Chinese culture, whatever the parents tell their son or daughter, they must fulfill it because verbal orders there are very powerful, right? So there, Prince Gao Yang, even though he or she does not love Li Changli, just because it's her mother's last words before she died, so he must marry Li Changli. It's her it's his obligation to be filial to her mother. That's the right term there. So the last type that we will be discussing is the modals that denotes permission. So it's um can and may. So from the dialogue we there the modal verb used there is may. So for example, you may use my pen. So the speaker there permits you to use his or her pen. So yeah, I think those types are very understandable because the terms are very easy. Right, class? Do you agree with me? Kindly send a thumbs up reaction. Okay, very good, class. So the last topic that we'll be discussing is the correct forms of writing modals. So we have two. So the first one, can we read, Chidoro? Thank you, Chidoro. So yes, modals always come first in a verb phrase. So look into the example. So I can swim. I can swim very well. So where is the modals there? Yes, very good. That's can. So can is the start of a verb phrase. So yes, you cannot actually say that I swim can very well. So the right form in writing that is I can swim very well. I there is the noun phrase, while can swim very well is the verb phrase. The second one is Don, kindly read. Thank you for that, Don. You're right. You cannot add s, ed, and ing to modals. For example, must follow, must you may run. You cannot add. It's always the basic form of the verbs that must follow the modals. Okay. Are there questions or clarifications so far, class? None. Okay, if none, I have here few of the classroom guidelines and teachers' answer responses to her students. And I want you to look into it and identify the modals used there and what type it is. I will call random students for that, and the others may type their answers in the in-call messages. So the first one, may I have Jobert? Kindly read and tell me the modals there and the type. Okay, very good. That's correct. Thank you, Jobert. Yes, the modals there is might and it's a modals that denote possibility. Thank you. Next. Okay, very good. It's must. So it's a modal that denotes obligation. The third one, yes, it's a modal that denotes permission, which is may. Very good. Thank you for that, class. So I'm very impressed with you because you actually listened very well. And you've answered it right, everyone. Okay, so before I'm going to give you to teacher Archie, let me ask you three questions. Okay, the first one is, what are modals again? Yes, Don? Okay, thank you for that answer, Don. Thank you. You're a very good listener. I am very impressed. Yes. As what Don said, it's a verb usually used to express possibility, obligation, necessity, and permission, and is written together with the main verb. Yes, that's actually true. And when to use might, may, and must? Yes, may. Very good. Yes, May said that we use might if we want to express possibility, we use must if we want to express obligation, and we use may if we want to express permission. Very good. The last one, how do you differentiate modals might, must, and may? I have read here in the info messages that same answer with May. Yes, that's actually true because must is for obligation, may is for permission, and might is for possibility. Very good, class. I am very impressed. Thank you for your participation. And now I will give you the teacher Archie for your better comprehension of the topic. Thank you.
Alright, thank you, Teacher Dev. And once again, good morning. So, after you have learned about the modal verbs and the three types of modal verbs, we will proceed to our next activity. So, in our next activity, I will read a short paragraph, and give at least one sentence based on the paragraph and send it to the info messages in our Google Meet. So Um, right. This is the paragraph as you can see it on the screen, and I will read it only one time. So listen carefully and be attentive. So this is the paragraph. The pandemic is frightening. We might lose our life in an instant if we are not careful. That's why health protocols are very important. We must follow the guidelines. We must protect the young and the old. You may choose not to abide, but be ready for the consequences. So for that, you have 3 minutes to send your answers. Your time starts now. Right, I can see already some students who have sent their answers. So, model information, George, Priyasha. Alright, time is up. So, I've read some students who have sent their answers. So, from James Rivera, you may choose not to abide the model of permission. George Gabriel Hortelano, we must follow the guidelines is the model of obligation. So, Camille Perez, we might lose our lives in an instant if we are not careful is the model of possibility. Alright, thank you. Very good. Um, you have given the correct answers for this activity. So for our assessment, next slide please. Right, thank you. For our assessment, choose the correct models to make the sentence correct. Write your answers in a sheet of paper and take a picture of it and send it to our group chat. So, are we clear? Are instructions clear? Can I see some heart reactions from the class? If the instruction is clear. Alright, thank you. So, to send your answers, you have 5 minutes to finalize and send it to our group chat. I can see 5 students who have sent their answers. You have 2 minutes left. I will remind you class that this assessment will serve as your attendance. So, alright. 30 seconds left. 10 seconds left. Alright. Submission is closed. So, we will check your answers after the class. So, for our assignment, compose a dialogue of real-life scenarios that use models of obligation, models of permission, or a model of possibility. So, your work must be in a MS file format and submit it on tomorrow, on or before our meeting. So that's it for today. I hope you have learned from our discussions and for our activity. Thank you for cooperation and participation. Let's call it a day. And I hope you have a great day. Alright, thank you class. Goodbye.